Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final season of the after show. It's not over yet, so for now, let's roll the intro. Praise Tzeentch.
The following stream is meant for adult audiences. It is unedited and uncensored, except in post I sometimes cut out wild stuff. But for now, viewer discretion is advised.
I can't say I know I can't move at all. I curse the name, the one behind it all. It's gone, I'm having up a mood, and sleeping in the middle of a summer. It's gone, whatever do we do to make it take all the way? It's gone, we can play along to the Lord, just aesthetics overtaking that. It's gone, we don't take it anymore, so take your tyranny away. It's gone.
Hello, and welcome one and all to another episode of the Everover After Show. I'm Everborn, and this is exactly what I just said it was. I don't know why I tried to drag this out more than I needed to be. Anyway, today we have a special treat. A very interesting idea made by some very interesting people. Now, for Green's Day, normally we play Halo and we fight the Halo servers, you know? Just try to enjoy our night by fighting lag and disconnects, you know? But old Green had another idea. He thought that he could convert me, a devout Tzeentch follower, into being a space marine. Now, if you don't know what any of this means, neither do I. I don't honestly know the first thing about Warhammer. I know that the orcs are magic users, and I know Tzeentch is probably the coolest god, but that's heresy. So, today with me, we're going to have three very lovely people. We're going to have Green himself, the man, the myth, the legend. We're going to have Harryman, who's, I don't know if he's even been on stream before, but he might have been. I don't remember. And, of course, as always, the incomparable, lovely Bard. Now, they've been waiting for about an hour because I asked them to make me a thumbnail and no one wanted to, which is fine. They don't have to. But then I was like, oh, yeah, I haven't made a thumbnail in 6+ months, so I had to relearn GIMP, which that was a thing and a half. So, without further ado, let's get the Discord. I had them make a Discord. So they now have a Discord with a bunch of things and stuff and things. If I had to choose a Chaos Bead Corn, well, I'm sorry you chose wrong. But hey, you know, that's fine. It's okay to be a fellow heretic. But it's been on, it's on it twice. Alright, enough stalling. Let's get in here.
Oh!
Oh god, that's the first thing that I get to hear on stream? That, really? Of all the things in the multiverse? Damn, alright. How are you doing, fellow heretics?
Ain't no heresy going on here. This here in my librarium is a loyalist strong
Your librarium? This is Green's librarium.
It is Green's librarium.
The librarium.
This may be my ship, but this is his librarium.
Okay. And where does me, a devout follower of Tzeentch, belong here?
If the Inquisition was here, eliminated. But, since we're cast in the warp as it is and separated from the fleet, you can sit wherever you damn well please.
Excellent.
So, do you want to start at the very, very beginning, or just where things get interesting for humanity?
Very beginning. It's good to start with lore.
Oh boy. Now what is going to follow are 9 pages worth of 40k lore condensed and summarized to the best of my abilities, with enough detail to keep you hooked.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I had muted your stream so I could watch, but also hear what's going on here. What do you know, and what don't you know?
Okay, so I know that if enough orcs believe in something, it becomes real. And also, Tzeentch is a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, Tzeentch is alright.
I know that the Space Marines have an eternal war against the furries, and I know that there's a bunch of minis that go involved into the God Emperor's Crusade, but that's the extent of my knowledge of Warhammer.
Okay, so the thing with orcs believing and everything, that's more fan canon, but I tend to accept it because that's a lot more funny. And then we don't talk about what Flash Gitz is doing, but their animation is doing beautifully.
Flash Gitz has 90% of my Warhammer lore, so you better get explained.
So whatever they're cooking up is not canon. but the Black Templars are canon. They are a canon chapter.
No mercy.
So, come along with me, children. Take a seat and listen to your keeper of the librarium. For I am
This
going
man
to
needs
take
to
you
be on
back.
a watch list. Tzeentch put him on a watch list.
I'm going to take you back to the very beginning. 60 million years ago. The Necron tier, tired of their miserable, short existence on an irradiated hellscape of a planet, turned to the Old Ones for help. The Old Ones were a race of amphibian-like beings, often thought to be the first advanced civilization within the setting of Warhammer. Seeking the knowledge that the Old Ones possessed to better living their situation, the Necron tier asked the Old Ones for help. The Old Ones promptly told them to fuck off. And if, of course, people are DMing me now.
Getting wrecked, nerd.
If you have questions, speak up. So, offended by such a response of being told to fuck off, the Necron tier, in turn, promptly waged war against the Old Ones, and were absolutely bodied.
What?
Seeing
No.
the Necron tier being bodied, the Catan stepped in. The Catan are powerful beings, basically gods of real space. They said to the Necron tier, hey
Why are they
guys,
called Catans?
I don't know, that's just the name they're given.
I'm fairly certain it's just Catan.
So is it like,
It's like
Katana,
C-
like their weeaboos?
No, it's like C''T''A''N.
Yeah.
I just pronounce it as Catan.
Oh, like Cthulhu? But Catan?
Kinda.
Okay, so my headcanon is it's now Cthulhu. Good, continue.
Naturally, as we get started, my connection starts to die.
Wouldn't be Green's Day without it, would it?
No, literally.
No, it would not.
Oh, it's great.
So,
Hi, Bard.
the Catan
Hello.
said to the Necron tier, hey guys, can help you achieve immortality and your war with the Old Ones. What you say?
Ooh, I love warring with old ones, but it's usually the seniors down at the block. But go ahead.
The Necron tier accepted the offer. In exchange, the Catan dragged the entire Necron tier population into vats of living metal, stripping them of their organic natures and turning them into the Necrons, an undead army of living metal automatons that behave a lot like the Terminator.
I'll put an image for reference.
With an army of slaves at their beck and call, the Catan proceed to commit genocide against the Old Ones.
Are they like Phyrexians?
No, not in that kind of living metal. Literally just Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator.
So they all look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
They're
No.
robotic skeletons.
So Arnold
I mean, they are, but some of them don't look
Yeah,
like
like
that.
the basic line troops are just, they're all the Necrons are living like metal skeletons, but the higher ones are more ornately decorated. Think like ancient Egypt and hieroglyphs and the works and the like.
I just imagine like an ancient Egyptian pharaoh going, "Hasta la vista, baby."
Eh.
Is that the Necrons?
Well, that's a JFIF file.
Go check out the
What the fuck
Holy
is
Art
that?
Room. I've posted an image there.
My brother.
I
Chris
tried to
posted
put an
JFIF.
image, but
What the fuck is a Jafif?
There we go.
What is a
Barbie, do
Jafif?
it.
Oh God. There it is. It's a little guy. Oh, he's got such a tiny platform. Why doesn't he have a bigger platform?
I don't know. I just took this off the records.
Damn. If this is what the Inquisition has to offer, oh my goodness.
So, as the Old Ones were dying,
Ooh, it's
they
Urgot.
created. Huh?
Lord
Oh,
Embersor,
that-
it's Urgot.
So that figure Bard just posted is one of the McFarlane figures.
Oh, that's the one that Green posted.
Yeah.
The Seth MacFarlane one? What?
No, yeah, no, not Seth. Todd McFarlane, the guy who does Spawn.
Oh.
Yeah, he has a
Babies?
whole. Yeah, so he has like figure ranges.
Ooh.
I used to collect his Halo 3 and Halo Reach figures. I still have them.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, as the Old Ones were dying, they created the Krorks and the Eldari to fight the Necrons. These will be relevant soon. Despite these new species being created, the old ones were erased from existence. This whole galaxy-spanning conflict is called the War in Heaven. In the wake of the War in Heaven, the Catan began to fight amongst themselves. Seeing this, the leader of the Necrons, the Silent King, rallied his people to fight the weakened Catan. Unlike the old ones who could be killed, the Catan are literal gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. The Necrons broke these gods, shoved them into what are basically Pokeballs, and used them as batteries and or weapons of war.
Alright.
Freed of their masters and taking the current state of the galaxy into account, the Necrons decided to retire to Tomb World, where they would rest until the new species of the galaxies died out.
Did you say
The
Tomb World?
Tomb Worlds.
Okay, I thought you said Toon Worlds. I was gonna lose my
The
fucking
Coomers.
The Coomers? What? Coom World? I said Toon, not Coom! What the fuck?
Tomb World.
The gods went to the Coom Worlds, dear God.
God, no.
No, please! Dear
So,
God.
the Quarks, without targets to kill, began to fight among themselves.
How you spell
They
corks?
eventually... Huh?
How you spell corks?
Quarks. K-O-R-K-S.
Okay,
They
I
eventually
thought-
become the modern-day orcs.
Wait.
Pork and Works.
I thought it was just orcs.
No, Quarks. They were Quarks first. They were created by the old ones.
R. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said corks, and I'm like for the wine bottles, they just believed
No.
enough and became
Quark.
orcs.
No.
As long as you
No.
believe enough, if it happens.
They
But yeah.
believed that they wouldn't be little corks forever and became big green monsters.
Yeah. No, because what would happen was they were developed for one purpose, to fight the Necrons. Without that purpose, they start fighting amongst themselves and devolve to the orcs.
Awesome.
Hang on. If I could hype, Jesus Christ.
You know, if it works for the orcs, it might work for us.
I like where this is going. Come on, everyone. If we all can just believe that the Halo servers will work, it will work. Come on.
Oh my God.
Raise your arms up.
So, the Eldari, however, become the newest galaxy-spanning race while the Necrons slept. We're going to put a pin in here and talk about the warp and chaos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on to that for a second. I'm gonna
Yep.
go grab another drink, and then we'll continue this. You guys, feel free to talk amongst yourselves, and just don't say any slurs while I'm gone. I swear to God, if I come back and my stream is gone, I'm gonna be mad. I'm looking at you, Harryman.
Hey, no. I have a good clean mouth. I do not say such heinous things.
She wants to go to Rita's. None of you understand the joke, but I do.
Child rape, fucking DSP and Illuminati. Okay, it's very clear you're talking about us.
I want to say it so bad, but I'm not gonna.
And if
Go ahead.
Oh.
But why?
there are easily situations that I can point to that
Oh, no.
describe you, your situation.
I want to, but I'm not gonna.
Your situation. From the fact that you let Salvo fucking trample you for 6 months and couldn't show an ounce of self-preservation to just disengage.
Oh, it's the laughing god. I love the laughing god.
Maul you every single day, okay? I didn't do that to you, motherfucker.
Just a friendly clown.
That wasn't me. Alright? If you're gonna come after me and say that I'm fucking toxic to you, then it should be for a fucking honorable reason. You should have a fucking example of where
Now,
I'm toxic,
quiet.
okay? Because
You know what?
now,
The stream needs
I'm gonna be
ducks.
toxic.
I'll go. No, we don't have the duck meat stuff in here. No!
So I'm gonna be toxic now.
Addiction is a
Okay, that
hard thing
works.
We got a soundboard.
and rather than
We do have
seek
this
treatment
soundboard.
for my mental health
I don't
problems,
have access
I
to the
turned
other
to
soundboard,
alcohol. I would
which
use
is
alcohol to
geese.
kind of like numb my pain.
Well, close enough.
Right?
Everyone want to start
You know,
spamming
for me, I
geese?
was able to be, now I have a healthy relationship with alcohol where, like, you know, I can have a drink from time to time, have fun. Sometimes shot stream, you can have some fun.
I love this.
I don't fall into the trap.
There are ducks in the warp.
Shot stream, I don't fall into the trap, right? Sometimes
Yeah, that would make
shot
sense.
stream, I don't fall
All
into the
things
trap,
considered.
right? Sometimes with shot stream, I don't fall into.
Alright, I wanna talk.
it's funny because what happened... Hard!
Yes. Wait, do I still have soundboard stuff on?
If you're gonna go around saying that the community's too toxic,
No.
then make it clear it's not the
I
content
got it.
that's actually too toxic. Because you're still talking about pedos, child murder, fucking rape, child rape, fucking DSP and Illuminati, okay?
You know, I just realized something, but aren't Tau pretty much just humanity before, back in like 20K or something?
Yeah.
Back when they started expanding?
I wonder which one hit the
In their own
fucking
way.
duck as soon as I came back. I know it was you.
There was more than me.
No. Ah. So are we worshipping Tzeentch and ducks now?
Please revoke the soundboard privileges.
No.
Wink.
Are you all set?
Okay, so Arnold Schwarzenegger and the orcs all gathered together to defeat the gods. Continue.
Okay, so we're putting a pin in the war in heaven, because it's over, the Eldari are spreading out amongst the stars, the fucking space elves, basically, orcs are becoming orcs, and the Necrons are asleep. So now we get to talk... God damn it!
Well, know something stupid. The Eldar created an entire Chaos
Oh,
God.
why, yes. Yes, it is. Thank you for noticing, Dark Spiral. Anyways,
Hey,
continue.
Keeper. Keeper.
But yeah, that actually happened. The Eldar created an entire Chaos God.
Hey, I'm getting there!
Okay.
Spoilers! I'm the one who wrote this out!
Hey, Tetra.
I like how there's
Tetra.
already dissent in the God Emperor ranks over here.
Anyway,
Do you have your library card?
the warp, also known as the Materium or the Sea of Souls, is essentially the reality between... I'm going to fucking shriek if I hear that duck one more time!
This duck is... So the Sea of Souls is what the ducks float on, is what I'm hearing.
Sure, let's go with that.
All right.
Is the reality between realities. Think the Nether in Minecraft. When a person dies, their soul goes to the warp. Emotions, thoughts, souls, it all flows in and out of the warp. However,
purgatory.
like all seas, there are parts you do not go to. These are the realms of chaos. Now, chaos is also prevalent in the Warhammer fantasy settings. Khorne, Nurgle, and Tzeentch, and all of their relevant
Praise
demons
be
appear,
Tzeentch. Continue.
appear in both settings. These three chaos gods occupy their own sections of the warp. Bricky, a well-known Warhammer YouTuber, makes a great comparison. Think of the warp as a kiddie pool. You have Khorne splashing around like a crazed lunatic in his corner. Nurgle is off to the side with explosive shits, and Tzeentch is being
Praise
Tzeentch.
Tzeentch.
Yeah, all is well and good in the warp as long as you know how to navigate it. There is a hiccup,
Wait,
however.
warp is basically like limbo,
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
but you can just navigate death.
Yes, you can navigate hell.
Why?
That's just how they do it. It's their faster than light travel solution.
How else would we get all over the place?
Wait, you can just go through. You don't even have to be dead to get to hell and back.
Yeah, no. For the most part, a lot
So
of
what's the
humanity
consequence
travel
of death?
being put into the warp.
But can't
As long as you have your shields up, you'll be fine.
I was gonna say, if you can enter and leave the
Probably.
warp as a living creature, what's stopping you as a dead creature from leaving the warp?
All depends on your allegiances.
So death has no consequence.
Kind of.
What's the
Depends on who
consequence?
you believe in.
Depends
Well-
if a certain set likes you or not.
Well, so if you just like the right people, there's no consequence to death?
If certain gods like you.
Yeah. Like if you were a follower of Korn and you did great in martial prowess and combat and devoted yourself to Korn, once you eventually entered the warp, once you died, Korn may or may not take notice of you and make you into a demon prince.
So, what do you get if you worship the God Emperor?
That's actually a good question. I never looked into that.
The church?
Do you? Because, like,
Well,
he's not an
there
actual
are-
god, right?
We
Yeah,
get to be
no.
cool.
So
there are
what you're telling me
instances
is the
of-
Chaos Gods have the power to bring back their devout followers, and the God Emperor people get jack shit for it.
No, not true, because there are a few instances in the Imperium of their having living saints. Saint Celestine is a good example of this. She is like the patron saint of the Adeptus Sororitas. She comes in and out of the warp because she is a warp entity and all that. I can't remember the exact details.
What the fuck is that jester?
Are you talking about the very top one?
Yeah, or the one you posted in Com Station.
Oh, that's the laughing god.
Tegorok.
He's such a nice clown.
He's a minor god.
I want to learn about him in a bit, but let me fold on this point real quick. So, like, what is bringing the Saints back then?
Just morale boost, they come in moments of dire need, like the Blood Angels, my army. They have their own sort of
Hold on, give me a
saint
second.
called the.
I did answer that in chat, Bard. I was very honored that this person showed up, and they're like, "Is that a Kira time?" I'm like, "Well, yes, it was." I did answer.
Oh, I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was not only happy to see a new face, but also like they recognize it's a Kira tie, and I was like, "Oh yes, oh, fellow JoJo fan, I like that." But anyway, so yeah, continue, Harry. How do they come back if the God Emperor isn't bringing them back?
Just through sheer devotion and belief, really.
So gods
'Cause-
don't have to bring you back; you just have to believe enough, like the fucking orcs.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
So
Because, like, even the Blood Angels, my army, they have their own saint-style character called the Sanguinor, who comes to Blood Angels in times of dire need.
So there's no consistent mechanics of the universe. It's just anime.
Welcome to 40K.
Okay, I just need to understand what scale I'm working with. If it's
Don't we
anime
also
bullshit, I
have
can
this
deal
like
with
The
that.
scale
blood
is
rage
yes.
thingy?
Green first. What?
Don't we also have that blood rage thingy?
The Black Rage? Yeah, that's relevant later.
Well,
Yeah.
And then what did you say, Harry?
I was saying the scaling of 40K is yes.
No, I'm not asking about the power scaling. I'm asking about the rules and mechanics. If the rules and mechanics are it's anime, so who gives a fuck? Then okay, I can work with that. But that's what I'm trying to understand here.
Yeah, so 40K in a whole is like so over the top and ridiculous that it cancels itself out.
Okay,
And
so
nothing
as
is
if
consistent
D&D was
because-
anime, well, okay, before and recent, because now they're just trying to turn D&D into anime, but...
Yeah. Because part of it too is GW also does a lot of retconning with lore and whatever they've made up 30,
Oh, I
20
fucking
years ago.
hate when they do that. Fucking Magic
Yeah.
does that all the time, and it's like, bro,
Yeah.
come on. Come on.
So-
You don't have to be consistent with your lore. Just don't retcon shit. Come on.
So yeah, the war in heaven ended up causing irreparable bloating of the warp. Millions of years worth of war is going to give Korn, Tzeentch, and Nurgle massive boosts in their powers. The Sea of Souls now looks more like literal hell, with teeth. Lots of teeth and monsters. And it can breach real space via warp storms.
Ooh.
Now, for the orcs, this isn't much of a problem. They have their own means of faster-than-light travel and basically have their own version of the warp. The Eldari are very good at resisting the madness of the warp and have their own means of faster-than-light travel called the Webway. So while the Necrons slept and the orcs punched themselves, the Eldari became the dominant race of the galaxy. The fun fact about the Warhammer timeline is that everything in our real-world history is canon to 40K. If we were in the timeline of 40K, the Eldari are out there right now being space elves. So, while we're picking at the dirt and beginning to spread out amongst the stars, the Eldari are perfecting their civilization.
You know why that's like such a really weird, upsetting meta-narrative to go by? Because the fact that if it's completely canon to every current timeline, that means while the concept and the entire lore of Warhammer is happening in space right now, you are sitting here telling me the entirety of lore of Warhammer right now, which does not work because there's now a set canon that exists in Warhammer, and if it is exactly happening right now, the fact that they have no access to us knowing the future of the Warhammer fucking creates a paradox, because all it takes is one bit of information to get from here to there, and everything's fucked.
Yeah. So, what happens when a civilization has everything? Food can be produced on a whim, there's no violence, everything is perfect. Well, you start pushing things to their limits and beyond. Your music becomes more abstract noise that bleeds your ears. Your art begins to incorporate legitimate murder. The possibilities are endless and purely hedonistic.
Wait, what race is doing this?
The Eldar.
The elves?
Space elves, yes.
Oh, that's weird. That's a human trait, not an elf trait.
You see, if we believe enough, we can live in Warhammer 40k.
I didn't know.
Now, remember how the warp is fueled by thoughts and emotions?
Yes.
The Eldari, being space elves, are very emotional beings and well-tuned to the warp. All these hedonistic acts are allowing something to gestate within the warp. Some Eldari saw the writing on the wall and bailed while the rest of their race devolved into the Drukhari, through the most debaucherous acts imaginable in their city called Gamera. Gamera is a black market city
Kinky elves.
hidden away within the
Kinky elves?
the webway.
Pretty much, from what I understand.
And just when it all seemed to reach a peak... Damn, my fingers don't want to snap. There we go. Slaanesh, the fourth Chaos God, was born. The instant Slaanesh was born, she consumed the souls of 90% of the Drukhari and Eldari population. If any Drukhari dies in the current setting, their soul immediately goes to Slaanesh. And the only way to stave off the ever-present pull of the Prince of Pleasure is to continue committing those heinous acts that birthed her in the first place. But the birth of Slaanesh also had a secondary effect. Their birth caused the warp to unleash warp storms across the galaxy. At this time, humanity is also reaching technological and scientific peaks. These warp storms immediately cut off human planets from each other, plunging the human empire into the Age of Darkness, also known as Old Night. Oh, but fate wasn't done fucking humanity. As humanity's situation continued to decline, their AI creations, called the Men of Iron, rebelled, plunging the race into the dark age of technology, which led to the eventual banning of AI in the current Imperium. So much knowledge and understanding was lost during this time, dragging the human race backwards through regression. Earth becomes Earth is blasted into a radiated hellscape a la Mad Max, with techno-barbarian warlords destroying the planet for every last bit of resource.
And that's why we hate the Eldar.
So wait, was Warhammer always a futuristic? There was never any Oh, okay.
Like at this point, where the Dark Age of technology happens, this is like the 20th millennium.
No, I get it. I just needed to understand the scale. I thought there was like maybe a medieval segment. No, if it's just like here's the basic lore and then it immediately jumps to futuristic stuff, like that's just what I needed to know.
Yeah, all the Warhammer stuff happened like
hold up.
60 million years ago and whatnot.
Isn't the Total War series also kind of interlinked with Warhammer?
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to explain because there's no solid answer on whether or not everything from Warhammer Fantasy shares the same timeline or setting as Warhammer 40k. They're often thought as separate, but also, interacting in the same timeline. It's really weird.
From what I have kind of learned from Dustin, sometimes in the game it talks about how the warp is the only thing that keeps them connected.
So yeah, we get to where the Emperor emerges from the shadows.
Yay!
Tired of the absolute bullshit happening on Earth, the Emperor stepped up and put down the techno-barbarian clans with his Thunder Warriors. The Thunder Warriors are the first step towards the modern-day Space Marine. The Emperor also wasn't a big fan of religion. He found it rather contradictory and cringe. So he burns every possible church on Earth to establish a new imperium built on technology, tolerance, and understanding. As the situation on Earth, now renamed to Terra, calms down, the Emperor disposes of the Thunder Warriors and strikes a deal with the powers of chaos to obtain knowledge. This knowledge would be used to create his 20 Primarchs. Each Primarch is a facet of the Emperor's personality and ideologies. Magnus the Red, his psychic prowess. Vulcan, his humanity. Rabute Gilliman, his logistical thinking, etc., etc. But when Chaos came knocking at the door for return payment on the deal that was struck, the Emperor basically slammed the door in Chaos's face and told him to promptly fuck off.
But why?
Hey, just like me with the tax agents that are currently outside my door right now.
I don't care who the IRS is sending, I am not paying my taxes.
The idea that the IRS is coming for you specifically is hilarious. They're in the middle of the woods. Oh, God.
Offended by such a response, Chaos climbed in through the window at night, kidnapped all 20 Primarchs while they were infants, and proceeded to yeet them like Superman escaping Krypton in every possible direction.
Wait. Did he make them as children? Wait.
He grew them from test tubes. Yo, mom's.
2 babies.
I thought he was assigning people. He just made test tube babies.
No,
Oh, God.
We are the sons of a test tube baby.
How the hell did he assign all of his, 20 traits to 20 individual babies?
Science.
He's the Emperor of Mankind. He can do as he pleases. He's the Big E.
How did he do? I want to know mechanically how he did that.
You know mechanically, we're just not saying it on your stream.
I mean, if you want to go with that, I mean,
No.
there are.
Let's see how vague
Anyway,
you can
we're
get.
deviating too far from the script.
Now I need to know how the hell, because I know how test tube babies are made. I understand how the male reproduction system works. I need to know how the fuck you've had 20 personality traits put in 20 individual vessels through that.
I don't know the finer details. I just know he crafted them on laboratories on the moon.
Oh, so it's like a miracle, like a cult. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the Emperor, in turn, now found a reason to take to the stars. To assist him, the Emperor uses leftover samples of the Primarchs to create the Space Marines.
Leftovers.
A quote from the Emperor himself. "They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give themselves unto me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war forge them. They will be of iron will and steely muscle. In great armor shall I clad them, and with the mightiest guns shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and machines such that no foe can best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear."
You know how I know the God Emperor's dumb?
Bug.
The fact that he's gonna say this kind of shit and then be like, "Oh, no gods," and then be surprised when he becomes a god. This is literally one for one Bible.
Now
shit.
you're understanding that there's so much hypocrisy that goes on.
I know it. It's hilarious.
Oh no, surprise Pikachu face.
So, with his new forces created, the Emperor struck out on the Great Crusade to reunite the lost of
Sorry,
humanity.
surprise Sonic Chew face?
That's worse. Don't stop it. Bad Bard. No.
Here your cringe interrupts me.
You're welcome.
Hey, you leave her cringe alone.
Librarian? Shadow
Which
Shit.
Hi, Senna.
Explain to me how you managed to get that on the ship.
What?
No, I'm
Which
talking
one?
to Bard.
which one?
This bucket of cheese balls, I brought it.
The
The
ducks?
Sonic Chew.
We're in the Black Library. Shush. Anything can happen here.
Sonichu is the true and one only divine God, and there's no way you can stop its power.
So, with his new forces created, the Emperor struck out on the Great Crusade to reunite the lost planets of humanity and to reclaim his lost sons. As he is about to leave the Sol system, he strikes an agreement with the Adeptus Mechanicus of Mars, allowing them to continue their own worship of the Omnissiah in exchange for building the weapons of war the Imperium needs.
Okay, you can have a ball. Sorry, repeat that. I needed the debate center to be on stream. Oh.
With his new...
Oh, go ahead. He's like, I have to go back on the script and not forward.
So with his new forces created, the Emperor struck out on the Great Crusade to reunite the lost planets of humanity. God fucking damn it!
Do it this time? I'm sorry. Am I sorry?
No, you ain't, but it's great.
Yeah, continue.
Yes, you may continue. Boop.
So he
Go
gets
on,
to Mars,
book
sees a
nerd.
bunch of nerds. They worship their own deity, but they also make the weapons humanity needs to fight. And so the Emperor's like, all right, cool, you can continue doing your worship, just give us weapons.
Dog boy.
One by one, the 20 sons are found and given their legions of space marines. One by one, they help push the Great Crusade further and further into the stars, reclaiming the worlds lost through old night. Stop DMing me! Throwing me off my pacing!
I like this stream is just ultimately becoming just a war on Harrison.
We're learning about Warhammer.
And Green's
Oh,
just
how I
sitting
wish
there
to be a
very...
salamander.
Green's just sitting there very patiently like, damn, bro.
Don't ask for much. This is my one time to shine.
You are shining. We're gonna cut it into segments.
Don't you have your own stream? What do you mean your time to shine?
I don't have my own stream running right now. I just threw some of my people the link to your channel.
Oh, well, first off, I appreciate that, but second off, like, you still have, like, a fan base, like, it's not like, this is my one time to shine. It's like, well, people like you already, what do you mean?
So anyway.
Because if you think I have a fan base that watches my streams that isn't currently in this Discord right now, you're insane. Dark
Maybe I
Spiral
am.
is here for a sec, but I don't know if Dark Spiral is even still here.
He lurks.
Oh, is that one of yours?
That's Bard's cousin.
Oh, nice.
Bard
he
has
lurks.
cousins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Since when did that happen?
By her existing. She has a family. She's not some unnamed orphan like Bruce. Actually, he wasn't an unnamed orphan, but you know what I mean. Oh.
Family. What's that?
The Emperor has one. Doesn't count
You
it
know
as
what
one.
a family... You can't play that card. I had to remove a whole fucking segment from a stream because your dad showed up on a Halo stream and you're like, please cut that. I'm like, fine. He was
There
also...
are no records of that. It never happened.
I remember it, and, you know, he was very sweet and very nice, so I was upset I had to cut it, but, you know. Your dad's very nice. Oh.
You can continue now, Keeper.
Harrison's over there molding, like, go ahead, buddy.
Frothing at the mouth. So, during the Great Crusade, two of the Primarchs fucked up so badly that all knowledge of them is expunged and erased from all known records in history. Their 18 brothers willingly had their memories altered to forget about the 2nd and 11th Primarchs. Should anyone outside the Primarchs make a mere mention of either of the lost Primarchs, it results in the instantaneous death of whoever speaks of them. There has been small mentions by other Primarchs throughout various novels, but they are immediately told to shut the fuck up. Now, in terms of the hobbying side of things, the lack of the 2nd and 11th Legions is to encourage people to be creative and make their own. So, we get to the 30th millennium. The Emperor, who has been leading the Great Crusade up until this point, steps aside and appoints the role of War Master to his favorite son, Horus. As Horus takes up the role, as Horus takes up the role, the Emperor returns to Terra to begin working on a webway project for humanity to use, but he neglects to tell anyone because the project is super secret. Up until this point, humanity has been using the warp to travel from point A to point B, and Big E wants to rectify that. However, some shit begins to go down with Horus and the Great Crusade. Horus and his fleet were called back to a planet that they had previously brought into the fold of the Imperium. The planet had fallen to a Nurgle-worshipping cult, and thus fell out of the fold. During the fighting, Horus was severely wounded by a poisonous blade. This blade, when whispered a name, develops a unique toxin unique to the named individual. Fearing that the War Master was to die, Horus's closest companions listened to a lad named Erebus. Erebus is a chaplain of the 19th Legion, the Word Bearers. He tells Horus's companions that there is a temple on the planet which they can take Horus to be healed through a ritual. Seeing no other option, Horus is rushed to the temple and locked away for, if I remember correctly, roughly a week. Within that week, Horus's psyche and soul travels the warp and is shown various visions of what is to come and put through self-reflective confrontations. What he didn't know was that Erebus was influencing Horus via the ritual, pulling him to the influence of chaos. What he also didn't know was that it was Erebus who gave the corrupted blade to the former governor of the planet Horus and his forces were sent back to. It was all Erebus all along. While this is going on, Horus's brother, Magnus the Red, Primarch of the Thousand Suns, saw all of this going on through his own projections into the warp. Magnus is a massive fucking nerd. After failing to get through to Horus, Magnus attempted to use his psychic might to warn the Emperor of what had just happened, that Horus had fallen to chaos. This, however, backfired for Magnus. This will be explained later. With Horus healed and emerging from the temple, Erebus continued to play Horus in turning his back against the Emperor by making pacts with the Chaos Gods to become their champion. With the Great Crusade abruptly ended, Horus managed to convince his brothers Parian, Urcharok, Lorgar, Fulgrim, Angron, Conrad Kurt. Who keeps laughing?
Hold on. You're gonna have to go back 2 sentences.
Ice-T.
Green fucking killed me. That was really good, Green.
It was really good. I'm sorry.
I can't be mad about that. That's pretty good.
Right?
God damn it.
Alright, commence, Herman.
Okay. So, with the Great Crusade abruptly ended, Horus manages to convince his brothers Mortarion, Perturabo, Lorgar, Fulgrim, Angron, Conrad Kurz, along with the twin Primarchs Alpharis and Omegon, to turn their backs on the Emperor as well. However, there were still loyalist elements within the now traitorous legions directly under Horus's command. To remedy this, Erebus and Horus set plans into motion. The planet Istvan III had rebelled against the Imperium. Unaware of the fact that his War Master had changed teams, the Emperor ordered Horus and his forces to crush this new rebellion. Under Horus's command were the forces of his own legion, the Sons of Horus, the Emperor's Children, the Death Guard, and the World Eaters. Wishing to be rid of those loyal to the Emperor, each legion was tasked with weeding out those who were loyal and sending them down to Istvan III via a mass drop pod assault. Once it's seen that the rebellion was fully quashed, those loyal to the Emperor would receive their reward: virus bombs. Think nuclear payloads using flesh-eating viruses.
First a giant boom, and then everything else is eaten.
They had been played the fool and dropped into a kill box from which traitor forces killed their former brothers-in-arms. However, a fair number of loyalists survived the bombardment in bunkers, thanks to a warning from one Captain Saul Tarvitz of the Emperor's Children, who stayed behind in the orbital fleet to see why everyone else was being so sus.
Sussy-wussy, ooh-woo.
To ensure that the loyalists were dead, Horus set the atmosphere on fire, but the loyalists continued to survive. Angron, who really didn't like that they were still alive, went against Horus's orders and went down to the planet personally with his legion to kill the loyalists.
No, she's
Horus.
ooh-woo.
I think they missed one, though. A specific lad of one
We'll
whom
get there.
I like a whole lot.
We'll get there, Green. Let the story play out. Horus, trying to remedy this lashing out from Angron, also sent forces down to kill the
Didn't you
loyalists.
miss one, though?
Hmm?
Green said you missed one, though.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Because I know who he's talking about.
So we're just skipping over things now?
No, we're getting there. He's trying to jump ahead.
But when does this cool, like, jester god come in?
Oh, that's completely a side thing. That's something from the Eldari.
Oh, that's an elf?
Yes.
Wait, what the fuck is this elf doing?
He guards the Black Library.
The Black Library? What the fuck is that?
So not only is it Games Workshop's publishing name for novels and whatnot, it's a very secluded place within the webway that contains all the knowledge of the universe.
And we're just gonna fucking skim over that?
It's not really that important because that's more in line with what's going on with the Thousand Sons and their own lore and whatnot.
But if it has every bit of knowledge of the universe, why is it not important?
I'm just covering the major beats of the story. There's a lot of side fluff.
But what does this guy do?
Degarok?
Yeah, the clown guy.
Just a fun guy.
Yeah, he just guards the library.
Oh, he's the guardian of the library. Okay.
Yeah. So within the Eldari, they have a specialized unit called the Harlequins, and Kegrok is their god.
Oh, okay.
But for this whole thing, I'm just covering the big beats of the 40k timeline. There's a lot of just side fluff and nitty-gritty that you learn over time, depending on where your interests lie.
My interest lies in the clowns and the fun stuff.
Oh, God. So, what was to be a simple slaughter turned into a 3-month defensive war in the ruins of the city, causing massive losses to the traitor forces. However, the loyalists were once again betrayed by one Lucius of the Emperor's Children, who was jealous that he wasn't the hero mounting a brave defense. The remaining loyalists were eliminated on Istvan III, while Captain Nathaniel Garo of the Death Guard, with some other loyalists in the fleet, managed to snag a frigate and escape the traitor fleet to warn the Emperor. 10,000 years later is when the events of Rylanor's last stand happen. Rylanor.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, I told you
I've
we'd get
heard of
there.
that before.
Yeah, the song from the other night.
Also, just so you guys know, because I don't know if anyone saw it, that's not what got my stream completely fucking taken down. It was that, like, 5 seconds of Linkin Park League of Legends shit.
Oh.
They're like, no! It's like, alright, thanks, Riot.
Rylanor, a dreadnought of the Emperor's Children, who you can see in that meme, survived the events of Istvan III and set up a lure deep in an underground hangar. A trio of Thousand Sons picked up this lure via subsonic signals and were sent to investigate via orders from Magnus. What they witnessed would be the stalwart defiance of a loyalist seeking to kill Fulgrim via a virus bomb that Rylanor had scavenged. Despite surviving the blast, Fulgrim's pride would be wounded by Rylanor's sheer defiance of his former Primarch, choosing to die as one loyal to the Emperor rather than be corrupted and be renewed by chaos. Rylanor deserves better than you, O Primarch. Rylanor deserves better than all of us.
Cringe. I still have yet to see a good argument for the Emperor over Chaos, but continue.
Then we come to the incident on Istvan V. Having picked Istvan V as his new base of operations, Horus entrusted Fulgrim and the Emperor's Children Legion to build fortifications and trenchworks for the newly traitorous forces. Having heard that Horus had become a bad boy, the Emperor gave the order to crush his favorite son in his rebellion. Ordered into the attack were the Iron Hands, led by their Primarch Varus Manus, the Salamanders, led by their Primarch Vulcan, and the Raven Guard, led by their Primarch Corvus Corax. Loyalist forces were able to seize control of Istvan V's orbit and immediately launched thousands of drop pods and dropships to the planet. What would follow was an absolute bloodbath. 30,000 traitors fell upon 40,000 loyalists, the traitors having a defensive advantage. The loyalists were fish in a barrel. After the initial first wave was crushed, the remaining loyalist forces retreated into the safety of reinforcing legions, those being the Night Lords, led by their Primarch Conrad Kurz, the Iron Warriors, led by their Primarch Perturabo, the Word Bearers, led by their Primarch Lorgar, and the Alpha Legion, led by their Primarch Alfarius. However, this second wave of reinforcements, not of the loyalist side. They too had sided with Horus. The resulting clash would be named the Drop Site Massacre, seeing the near destruction of the Salamanders, Iron Hands, and Raven Guard, including the death of Varus Manus at the hands of Fulgrim. A quote: "When contacted by Legion commanders protesting the careless destruction, the Iron Warrior captains replied with laughter that bordered on betrayal. 'We're all bleeding today,' an Iron Warrior's Captain Vox back to Corferon. 'Have faith, Word Bearer.' The link went dead to the sounds of chuckling." At the same time that this was all going on, let's pick in on Magnus the Red. So, immediately before the Horus Heresy, there was a gathering called the Council of Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea was a discussion on using psychic powers within the Imperium and the Legionis Astartes.
Spell that.
Yeah. Oh, what?
IKEA.
There you go.
Oh.
Which ironically has ties
like
to
the
something else
goddess
I have.
Nike. Okay. I thought I heard IKEA and I was like, what?
No, Nicaea. It was a discussion on whether they would choose to use psychic powers within the Legionis Astartes and whatnot.
Oh.
Naturally, Magnus the Red was all for it, because if the Emperor was allowed to, who was the biggest psyker, then so should all other psykers. Forces of the Adeptus Astartes already had librarians within their ranks and were used to great extent. The Emperor, being a massive hypocrite, voted no and said this quote: "Woe betide he who ignores my warning or breaks faith in me. He shall be my enemy, and I will visit such destruction upon him and all his followers that, until the end of things, he shall rue the day he turned from my light." Magnus, begrudgingly, agreed to the decision made by his father, which he immediately went against. Remember how Magnus saw Horus being tempted to chaos within the warp?
Yeah.
That happened right after the Council of Nicaea. Needing to warn the Emperor of what just happened, Magnus astral projected himself to Terra, destroying the Emperor's Webway project in the process. Enraged, the Emperor ignored Magnus's warnings and ordered the Primarch, Leman Russ, and the Space Wolves Legion to bring Magnus in for trial. As Leman Russ and his forces arrived at Prospero, the home of Magnus and his legion, the Thousand Sons, Horus sent a message to Russ, saying that the Emperor had changed his mind and instead wanted Russ and the Space Wolves to destroy Magnus and the Thousand Sons. Russ, unaware of Horus's newly traitorous nature, believed the lie. And thus we have the burning of Prospero. Just as Russ and the Space Wolves were about to destroy Prospero, Magnus executed a priorly prepared ritual with his second-in-command, Ahriman, pulling himself, his remaining forces, and Prospero into the warp. It was here within the warp that Magnus would eventually side with Tzeentch. Now that we've caught up with Magnus, we can continue with the Horus Heresy. I need water. Give me a moment.
Go get yourself some water.
Oh, I have it right here. Green, it's Rabute Gilliman.
Oh. Sounds dumb.
Goleman.
Yep. Often referred to as Rabute Gorilla Man. So, following Isban 5, Horus and his forces laid a bloody path to Terra. Think Sherman's march through the South during the American Civil War. Seeing
Like
that
the paint
Horus
people?
was... Huh?
Sherman, the paint people?
No, General Sherman of the Union Army, and he burned the South during the American Civil War. Did no one pay attention in history class?
Sorry, I was doing other things.
I'm sorry. I'm about hold on. U.S. history class. We are fucking 55 minutes into a goddamn Warhammer stream, and you think I'm thinking about American history while I'm fucking trying to focus on Warhammer history?
It was the first thing I thought of comparing
Unfortunately, you sit here, you got fucking history on the mind constantly for the last 29, 30 years of your life. I got fucking shit posts and memes in my head, brother. So when you go, wait, you didn't think that immediately? Be like, I don't know, dude. If you got Hawk 2 or fucking Lemon Car on the brain, I got you there, but otherwise...
I don't subscribe to brain rot.
Of course you don't, because you're not a shit poster like me. You're a different man. You're a fucking history war buff. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm here for the memes and the dumb stuff.
Seeing that Horus was gunning for Terra, the Emperor entrusted his son, Rogel Dorn, Primarch of the Imperial Fists,
Rogel Dorn is his name?
Rogel Dorn.
Poor bastard.
I always thought it was Rogel Dorn or something like that.
Rogel Dorn.
Rogel Dorn.
You're putting
Poor
too much
guy.
emphasis on the ow. It's Rogel. He was ordered to fortify and reinforce the Imperial Palace, which was built atop the Himalayan mountain range. Once traitor forces were over Terra, a nearly 6-month siege would befall it. During the siege, heroes were made, ground was lost, and the traitors nearly completed their objective, if it weren't for the valiant defense of Eternity Gate. However, with his forces dwindling and time running out before reinforcements from the Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and Ultramarines arrived, Horus lowered the shields of his flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. Some saw this as a challenge to the Emperor. Others saw it as a final moment of regret for turning traitor. Either way, the Emperor rose to the challenge. The Emperor, along with his Adeptus Custodes, Rogel Dorn, Sanguinius, and their respective veteran Marines, all
What's a
boarded the
Custodes?
Vengeful Spirit. Huh?
What's the Custodes?
His personal guard. The big golden armored dudes.
Basically, they're the ones who plot armor incarnate.
And they called them Custodes?
Adeptus Custodes.
So his oh, these are my like fucking right hand men, my like biggest like these are my knights of the round are called fucking Custodes.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
So, as soon as the Emperor, his guard, Rogel Dorn, Sanguinius, and their Marines boarded the Vengeful Spirit, they were all immediately scattered throughout the ship, which had been twisted and altered due to influence from the warp. Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels, my army, was the first to find Horus. After one final failed attempt to convince Sanguinius to turn to chaos, the two clashed. However, Sanguinius was greatly wounded from his battles on Terra, making it all the easier for Horus to kill him. When the Emperor finally found where Horus was, all he saw was Sanguinius's dead body lying at Horus's feet. Seeing the great angel laying dead, the Emperor and Horus exchanged some final words before the two set upon each other in a great psychic and physical brawl. The Emperor, battered and bloodied, would gather his psychic might in one final blow, obliterating Horus in both body and soul to prevent the Chaos Gods from resurrecting him as a demon prince. What's up?
Huh?
Hmm?
You were the only one talking.
Oh, I probably just caught the echo on your end.
I have headphones. What?
Somehow I hear echo.
I don't know what to tell you. I have headphones. What?
I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Let me check the fucking. Hold on. Microphone. There's properties. Oh,
Two examples of custodies.
Voice mod, virtual audio. Okay, so it's all through virtual. That should be just exactly how it is. Hold on, where's voice mod? Ba-ba-da. Voice mod settings. Input. Razor. Huh? Why is it the fucking razor? Wait a minute. Where's my road?
Raggy.
That's a good question. Where's the road? Has all of this just not been on the road? Wait a minute. Let's sure hope that didn't just mess up the whole stream. But, it feels like everything just got messed up. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't either. Where's the road? Because it's on web. Razor, I guess. Oh, where the fuck's the road? What? That's the one that's behind the computer. Oh, well. I'm just gonna hope that this stream's good. I don't know. I'll let you guys know I've got like 60 fucking, or sorry, not 60, but like about 12 different things plugged in different spots. So like I'm going to just assume that everything's like working correct audio wise, because I'm not gonna be able to fix anything if it's not working correctly. Oh, what is this? Oh. Oh no. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we can still hear
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Okay, cool. As long as it's still, like, perceivable, that's the only thing that matters, ultimately. I'll deal with all this, like, this other stuff later. It's whatever, but...
Yeah, you're good.
I can't get
almost-
rid of any echoes or anything, but...
I'm almost done with the timeline anyway.
Yeah.
For the Emperor!
Ow. Pulled on a cord.
For the Emperor!
No. Womp womp.
Eh.
Yeah. So, don't worry, I'm almost done. As Rogel Dorn caught up with the others, he would find the dead Sanguinius and the dying Emperor. Rogel Dorn would take his dying father off the ship, along with the remaining Loyalist forces, and retreat to the inner sanctum of the Imperial Palace, as the remaining traitor forces were hunted down. It would be here that the Emperor would become interned within the life support machines of the Golden Throne, following the sacrifice of his closest friend, Malkador the Sigilant, who took the Emperor's place on the throne to keep the Immaterium locked away from reality. What would follow is 10,000 years of regression and fanaticism. the age of apostasy would come and go, allowing the ecclesiarchy to become the literal government of the Imperium through the power of the Emperor's Inquisition and the Adeptus Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle. Where the Emperor wished to not be worshipped as a god, the ecclesiarchy made him into a martyr and mandated that every man, woman, and child within the Imperium regard, worship, and refer to the Emperor of Mankind as the God Emperor of Mankind, lest they be seen as heretics and executed. During the 10,000 years following the Horus Heresy, Abaddon, the Despoiler, who swore to finish what Horus had started, launched 13 Black Crusades against the Imperium, with the final crusade tearing the galaxy in half with the Cicatrix Maledictum, a literal tear in reality following the fall of Cadia, an Imperial Guard stronghold planet. To prevent something on the scale of the Horus Heresy from happening again, Rabute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, wrote the Codex Astartes and distributed it among the Adeptus Astartes as the new framework for Astartes forces. Rather than having legions composed of 10,000 Marines, the legions were broken into chapters containing 1,000 Marines. While the 9 Loyalist legions would be broken down into their own respective chapters, they would spawn off hundreds of successor chapters, such as the White Consuls, who herald from the Ultramarines, or the Flesh Terrors, who descend from the Blood Angels. However, despite these new chapters, some would be completely wiped out.
Codex
Others would...
Astartes and heresy posting.
Codex Astartes does not support this. Shut! Yeah, despite these new chapters, some would be completely wiped out. Others would fall to chaos, all while new threats from chaos, traitor, and alien forces alike besieged the Imperium on all sides, well into the 42nd millennium. A quote. The last one for this. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grimdark future there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage, slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. Welcome to Warhammer 40K.
And what a brilliant intro to the idea of Warhammer. Yeah, let's agreed. Clap, clap, clap. What a beautiful introduction to Warhammer.
I did not mean to hijack.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes, yes. But now is where questions come in. What you know and what you don't know and whatnot.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have a lot of questions. Just a lot of fucking splinters in my mouth because I've been chewing on a toothpick for a while, so yeah.
Bruh, not the toothpick.
Yeah, that shit's fucking splintery. Yeah.
Maybe you should stop chewing on toothpicks.
Well,
Maybe
maybe
you should get a bunch of wood out of his mouth.
I much prefer mechanical pencils.
Ice cream.
Ice cream sounds good.
Yeah, in summary, everything sucks. Everyone in humanity sees the Emperor as a god, even though he didn't want to be a god. And everything's looking for a way to tear humanity down.
Yeah.
But we're surviving, somehow. Excuse me?
Well, I feel I have a much better understanding of Warhammer now after all that.
Yeah.
So is that from fucking Murder Drones?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I have something to tell you about that after this fucking.
Hold on. There's one I want to add. It's I'm pretty sure it's the German version.
Let me see if I can find it.
So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as always, until this all comes crashing and burning, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have yourselves a lovely evening and a lovely day the next day, or whatever you do.